Reverend
It's a
Jo-
surprise. Holy shit. That's really loud.
well, there's no secret.
Surprise.
Prayer, passion, and power. Wow. Reverend Joanne.
Thank you, Reverend Tress.
Thank you.
Okay, Russ, do you think that's loud or is that okay? Okay. Holy smokes. Do you know every one of you could be up here doing this? I'd love to see you up here doing that. And so I feel really honored that you got up an hour early and you came here to hear what the message is and to be with like-minded people, because I can guarantee you you're not going to hear this truth anywhere else in this city. So thanks for being here. Good to see you, Lena. Always miss you. So if you could join me, and I'll tell you already that I am Reverend Joanne Faith, and I am woman. I am infinite, and so are you. Welcome this morning to the Center for Spiritual Living. You are here by divine appointment. This is your time. So please give yourself a pat on the back and honor yourself for being here today. And join me as I state the following affirmative prayer. If you choose, you may close your eyes or gently focus on this amazing painting behind me. In the consciousness of love and peace, there is only one creative power, all-knowing presence, infinite essence of love. I call this Creator God. The name resonates with me. Whatever name resonates with you is perfect and honored. Today I speak these words in the first person, and I know that they are the truth for each person here who claims it as their own. I feel it right now, my connection to my own body, mind, and spirit. I feel it right now, my heart beating, my breath breathing, my thoughts accepting, and my spirit opening. I am one with it all. I am co-creator in this life experience, and I rest in the truth that all the prayer, passion, and power that is available to us all is also available to me today. It is mine and yours to share. For there is plenty to spare and plenty to share. And you do, and I do. In the silence, in the peace, I allow my essence to flow from me. And I invite you to do the same. Allow it to flow to the person beside you, in front of you and behind you, without expectation or conditions. And as I do this, and as you do this, we are weaving an invisible thread that connects us all. I remember that this is my power to use and share with love and light. I reach for prayer, passion, and power when I need divine inspiration. With great thanksgiving for this center, this teaching, the mystics and leaders, both masculine and feminine, I simply say thank you. This morning we open to the divine within each of us, and I release my word into the all-knowing one. I know it is heard, received, returned, multiplied, and overflowing. And together we say, and so it is. Let's take a moment in this energy of prayer and power and passion to send loving thoughts from our hearts to all those who need to know they are loved. They have the power to heal their own consciousness. Today, I pray for Janet. I pray for Joyce. I pray for Joanne and Ruth, for my family and friends, for Pete's family, for your family. And let us now sit in silence as collectively we send love to each of them and the world. Thank you. I have Janet's drum in front of us. And if you could just hold Janet in your heart as she works her way towards the light, that we send her there in peace and power, purpose. I know for some of you that's a surprise. And for Janet, it's not. She's peaceful. And she's sleeping, and she's surrounded by her kids. So thank you. Joyce, too, is peaceful, surrounded by her kids. You know, I went and saw Joyce at the hospital, and she's in palliative care. And how old is Joyce, Penny? 85, Joyce's mom. I woke her up. I said, "Hi, Joyce." And I grabbed her hand. She goes, "Have a seat." Like she was accommodating me. "Oh, are you visiting me? Have a seat." I said, "You'd probably make tea too if you could." "Yeah, I would." That's the kind of woman she is. Oh, I had Pete read my talk. He said it's really long, and I haven't even started it yet. Tress, in her opening, she talked about God being a place. And there is this poem by Edith Chadwick that she wrote for Ernest Holmes, and it's called "I Am a Place," and I just want to recite it for you. It says, "I am a place where God shines through, for he and I are one, not two. He knows me where and as I am. I never worry, fret, or plan. If I relax and let it be, God will shine his light through me." So I'm wearing my pearls. Today I want to tell you about 3 pearls of wisdom. And they are prayer, passion, and power. And all of those were all days to celebrate in the first 9 days of March. You know, we often on the calendar, there's so many days we celebrate. We always know there's Christmas and Easter and Valentine's and birthdays and anniversaries. But every once in a while, there's a block of time that truly changes our history, our consciousness. And for me, it's March. For lots of reasons. The first is, of course, daylight saving time. The spring equinox, what a powerful time of year. And I want to talk about 3 specific pearls of faith that happened this last week. They are World Day of Prayer, Ash Wednesday, and International Women's Day. Not to mention March is a 3. It's a 3. Anybody that knows about numerology knows 3 is a time of completion. Kathy, what else is 3? Do you know? Okay. Peace, love, and harmony. Those are 3 good words. They're almost as good as prayer, passion, and power. So 3 words that I chose not even knowing about that. So the first thing I want to tell you is I'm not going to talk about them in chronological order because the flow's better if I start with prayer. But the first is Ash Wednesday, which is the 5th of March, followed by International Day of Prayer, which is the 7th of March, and International Women's Day, which is the 8th. And I really wanted to start with prayer because I say so often how important it is. And in one phrase, what I think is, if I could find one way to find and know if something is true, truly true, magically magnificent, and enlightened, if I want an enlightened answer, I'm going to turn to prayer every time. We call it affirmative prayer. And you might have noticed when I did my opening, I did those 5 steps. God is, I am, I know, and I'm thankful, and I let it go. But it's not just me. When I was looking up what is prayer, St. Francis of Assisi had it right. Prayer is offering ourself as an instrument of peace. But then I found some other quotes that might be more relevant to you. In Mark chapter 11, verse 14, it says, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours." Wow, doesn't that sound like affirmative prayer? Ernest Holmes goes on to talk about, he calls it a presence and a power, not a prayer and power, but he says, "I live in the faith that there's a presence and power greater than I am, that nurtures and supports me in ways I can't even imagine. I know that this presence is all-knowing and all-power and always right where I am." I also like Martin Luther King Jr. He said, similar to St. Francis of Assisi, he says, "Use me, God. Show me how to take who I am, what I want to be, and what I can do, and use it for a purpose greater than myself." Wow, that sounds like something his dad said. But then I found this funny one that Corrie ten Boom said. She was talking about prayer, and sometimes I tell you about when you pray, it should be like 411. Give me information, not 911, help, I'm drowning. She says, "Is prayer your steering wheel or your spare tire?" I thought that was really relevant. So the first thing, World Day of Prayer, do you know it's totally initiated by women? I know we're not surprised, but you guys might be surprised. It's celebrated annually on the first Friday in March, and it's a worldwide movement of women, and they gather together to observe a common day of prayer. And it's carried out by women in more than 170 countries and regions. And it brings together women of different races, cultures, beliefs, traditions in fellowship and understanding. Through World Day of Prayer, women affirm that prayer and action are inseparable and have immeasurable influence in the world. Prayer and action. Oh, that's the hard part. Ernest Holmes says, "Treat, move your feet." And Mark says, "Pray believing it is so, and it will be done." Yeah, I think prayer really lifts me up. It gives me energy. I feel so blessed, and I feel in love. And when I do an affirmation for somebody, I'm going to meet with Cole after. I got to adjust myself. I'm going to do an affirmation for him, because whatever is going through any of your lives, every one of us are going through the same thing. So what we do is we don't pray to make something better. We pray to align ourselves with the consciousness of wholeness, with the consciousness, with the mind of the divine. We pray to know the truth so deeply that it's revealed in our lives. So if you want to know something, if you want to know if it's absolutely true, magnificently magic and enlightened, start with prayer. That is the first pearl on my string, prayer. It's the most important tool in the toolbox. And you can pray quietly, or you can pray with passion. Reverend Tress talks about when she's driving down the road doing an affirmation, she's hitting the steering wheel. Is that what you told me once? Oh, yeah. I guess, only when it's safe at a red light. But truly, anything you want to believe, you can say it as many times as you want. But if you don't have the passion, you don't take the action, you can sit at home and say, how come nobody's ringing my doorbell? So do it with passion. Yes. Okay, hang on. Because, because it won't, I'll bring it down to you.
I'm not a person who loves crowds. I never have been. I have my space out in nature. So if I'm somewhere and I'm really feeling I need to just be, I just sit down and I just think, God is, I am, away we go. You just connect. Nobody knows what's going on in my head. We always have prayer. And it's right in here. And nobody can take it away.
Nobody can take it
So
away.
I'll quit beacon off here. and I'll let you
Everybody
talk.
wants to hear what everybody else thinks. You know, there's some Sundays where I pass around the mic and then I get a call at home. That was long. But if anybody ever wants the mic, you put your hand up. I'm more than willing to share. So I love how Petrus says, I just say God is and I am. That's all the passion you need. It connects you. But I want to move on to the next thing, Ash Wednesday. And I want to know, how passionate are you about bringing something new into your experience? And I'm going to call it fasting over negativity. Because Ash Wednesday, this year was on the 5th of March, and it's always 40 days before Easter. Well, the biggest thing for me for Easter is the chance to start again, the resurrection. So how about we use these 40 days to fast from negativity? I mean, stop watching the news. Get rid of some people in your life that are full of negativity. Let's fast from something that's no longer serving us. And how am I going to do that? I laid in bed last night thinking, I got to walk my talk. I decided every time I think or say something negative, catch me and say, I think we can rephrase that. And I'm going to do it myself. Every time I say something negative, this morning I already caught myself 4 or 5 times because that's who we are. That's how we're trained. So I'm going to remind myself to rephrase that. So the message of Ash Wednesday is about fasting. But also, as we were reading it, the other end of that is called alms, A-L-M-S. It's kind of a new word to me, but it means giving. And it's the energy. It's part of the 40-day fast. Do you know that word alms comes from the Greek word meaning mercy, which is very similar to the word charity, which is translated in Latin to be love. So the other side of fasting is giving. If you're fasting from negativity, imagine how much love you have to give to the world. The 3 things in Ash Wednesday were fasting, prayer, and alms. I think that's already part of my 3 pearls. Now I'm on the second one, prayer and passion. Be passionate about your 40 days, and it'll bring you closer to your faith. It'll bring you gratitude, justice, mercy, charity, all pearls on that same string. Prayer for charity, passion for giving back, passion for rebirth, and power, the last one. A power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it. The 3 pearls of the 3rd month. Prayer, passion, and power. So the power I'm talking about today is, guess what? The power of women. Karen Drucker does this song. It's the power of women. United we stand. We're making a difference when we join hands. So there's no other time in the world than right now that we need to practice the power of love. Yesterday was International Women's Day, and yes, the women who went before us did some amazing things. But what we want to recognize is not just the power of women, but the feminine principle of compassion and wholeness, of rebirthing and nurturing, which is in each of us. The divine feminine, it's prevalent in women, but it's expected of women. But it's not androgynous. It's present in men. The men here are so balanced. They have the masculine principle and the feminine principle. I myself could use a little masculine principle. I'm humbled for being a woman at this time of great change, and I wear it like a shawl, my feminine principle. So I'd like to open that feminine principle and take some of that masculine principle so I too can be like the Buddhist, balanced. If you haven't seen this film, I want you to look it up. It's from the Canadian Film Board, and it's easy to remember because it's called Goddess Remembered. And in this film, it reveals to us that up until the 1400s, the Earth Mother was the supreme nurturer. And after that time and over the course of many centuries, the Earth and the female perspective got ignored. Not the females, just the feminine principle of compassion, love, understanding. Just like I was talking about last week when I said that the age of enlightenment, the Enlightenment era, they renamed it to be the pre-modern era, because enlightened was a word that was threatening to too many leaders. So many people are looking for, but not necessarily for the feminine gender, but the feminine principle of compassion, understanding, and love to help our world today. You know, women aren't the hierarchy. We are the people who meet together, who meet monthly, who celebrate the moons, who celebrate the holy days, the equinox. And it's our creativity and how we relate to the earth that people need. I know Maurice goes to drumming, and he goes to equinox celebrations. I see you guys posting them all the time. And I know Peter does Reiki, and he's done some drumming. And I know Russell is so connected to his self and his beautiful wife. And Floyd, he's got a beautiful wife. I know he knows his feminine principle. And Cole, man, oh man. If I knew what I know now when I was your age, it would have been a whole different world. So I'm just so honored that you come to hear this spiritual truth. I wrote on this big rant about, I don't know if you've read any books about Mary Magdalene or Mother Mary, but I'm telling you, the Marys of the Bible have been rejected for a long time, like 2,025 years. But she was a goddess. I believe Mary is another word for goddess. That's why there's so many Marys in the Bible. It translates to goddess. Do you know, in Mexico, all the healers and shamans, most of them are still women. And one woman that's a shaman, when I looked at her website, it says, I am an ancestor of tomorrow, and they will remember what I did today. There's also many powerful women in this teaching. Emma Curtis Hopkins, she ordained Ernest Holmes. Imagine being ordained by a female minister in the 1900s. And then, of course, there's Louise Hay. There's Wayne Dyer, Marianne Morrissey, Marianne Williamson. Do you know, when I was researching people and women and men and the difference, I really got the impression that women in history were famous for their fight for education and peace, which was commendable, but not really makes a big difference. Where men were famous for acquisitions and conquest. But there's a middle way. The Buddhists call it the middle way. It's a balance between the female and the male. And when we find that balance, the equality of religion and education for all, for peace for all, the right to succeed and prosper for all, then we'll have peace. Power. It's the third pearl on my string. The power of male and female divinity. How much time do I have? I have a little visioning exercise I'd like you to do. So I invite you to just bring into your consciousness this question. What is the highest vision you have for this world, for this life, for your family and your community? And if you choose, you can just close your eyes, and if you're a visual like me, maybe that's going to manifest. How do you want the world to look? the world that is full of love and compassion, full of passion and prayer and power. And when you can envision that, I want you to just stop it where it is and think to yourself, what if I multiplied that by 1,000? 1,000 people? 1,000 people holding hands? What if I multiplied that by 1,000,000? 1,000,000 people all living compassionate, loving lives? That is what God chose for you. If you want to use the Creator, universal intelligence, doesn't matter. That's what it wants for you. That's what your inner self wants for you, more than you ever dreamed, more than you ever imagined, times 1,000,000. Everything you could ever dream or be. It's only a fraction of what the universe has made available to us. That's what our true potential is. Power, passion, and prayer are certainly one way to that end. Thank you. If your eyes were closed, you can open them now. What a magnificent dream. Just ready to be realized, to be born after our 40 days of fasting, or today, or tomorrow. I have to tell you, I'm going to be away for a few weeks, but I know you're going to have amazing ministers. Reverend Teresa is talking next week, then Reverend Valentine, and then practitioner Linda Connolly and Janice Langdon. So I know you're going to be well informed. I'll be watching you online. But I wanted to leave you with those pearls of wisdom. For my 3 weeks away, prayer, passion, and power. That's my truth, and that's your truth. That's our strength. And together we say, and so it is. I am Reverend Joanne Faith, peace and love, Boruck. You are all pearls on my string of love. And I love you, and have a beautiful week. And now I'd like to invite my beautiful friend Lena to come up and close for me.